Jerald Rudolph Schenken was born in 1933 to Lucille and Dr. John R. Schenken. Jerald grew up in Omaha, where his father was gaining national fame as a pathologist. He received his medical education at Tulane University, and in 1965 joined his father at the Pathology Center in Omaha.
Rudy Schenken was first a pathologist at Methodist and at the university, and then he also ran the laboratory at Children's when it first opened. And when Jerry came along, he was a very, very bright young man and went into pathology and took over the laboratory and spent a lot of time at Children's instituting microtechniques. In the early days, you had very few tests that you could do on children without needing large volumes of blood. There were no microtechniques. So if you had to take blood out of a child, of an infant, and take it out of their internal carotids or their external carotids or their anterior fontanelles or their femorals.
It frequently ended up with a surgeon being called in to do a procedure and obtain the blood. And that was so traumatic to the families and the children that he developed this specialized group. And lo and behold, they became technical experts at it.
He had an academic sense in a time when we weren't a strong academic city. And I think he always looked to bringing up the bar and essentially setting up the best training programs and thinking in an academic sense, research, keeping the knowledge base up. He was pretty much a constant learner.
He taught a clinical pathology course at that time, and he really made pathology look interesting, exciting, fun, and so much so that out of a class of 84 of us, 6 of us became pathologists.
It was always the highlight of one of my days to go to the doctor's lounge at the old children's hospital, because he would be sitting there holding court, and he and Dr. Schreiner would be there underlining articles in the newspaper that he knew the rest of the medical staff ought to be aware of.
It wasn't at all uncommon to get from him in the earlier years an envelope with an article cut out, and it was underlined and had at the top of it some kind of a notation. Walt, take a look at this. What do you think?
He was an advocate for children, and in this state, again, there was a time when children really weren't on the horizon. And he was there at the legislative side, he was there in the city, and he was always out there reminding us of what we needed to do for children. There are a lot of pathologists in this country who would say he was their role model.
Dr. Schenken worked tirelessly to invent and innovate processes that went far beyond pathology. His efforts to improve health care for all, especially children, made him nationally known as a physician and humanitarian.